childhood. The time when a human being is supposed to have fun, create memories, and transform into the adult that they eventually become. A time when your biggest worry didn't come in the form of bills and regretful life choices. A time when your big stress in life came in the form of Saturday morning cartoons or the next big toy that was coming out on shelves. But in the story of Five Nights at Freddy's, a man decided to rip away the lives of these innocent little children for his own sick gain. A man by the name of William Afton decided to take the lives of these kids while his family and friends suffered for his heinous acts. And through these Five Nights at Freddy's games comes an interwoven story of an entire family falling apart. A disturbing story that has captivated millions of fans into scaring themselves over and over again to learn the tale of the Afton family. Hey guys, my name is DJ, and Five Nights at Freddy's has to be one of the most picked apart video game franchises of all time. For a simple little game featuring a security guard and 4 little animatronics, you wouldn't think that there could be so much to unpack throughout it. We have Golden Freddy, the hidden posters, the mystery of the Bite of 87, and much more. And that's just talking about the first game, way before underground facilities, molten animatronics, and digital manifestations of evil. But I'm getting ahead of myself, because today I'm going to be scouring through these games to find the true story at the core of this franchise. Through all the murder, all the animatronics, and all the weird furry anime comes the story of a simple purple man by the name of William Afton. And to kick off this Afton family story, we have to go all the way back to the beginning of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. So, sometime in the late 1970s to early 80s, the Freddy brand began with William Afton and his business partner, which we will talk way more about later, Henry. The business plan is simple. Henry creates a brand out of Afton's wild and wacky animatronics, and William Afton just doesn't have to kill any children. But sadly, that business plan starts to go south real quick when a few children decide to die on their watch. Starting with the Bite of 83. As we see in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, William's son, Michael, bullies his little brother in The Crying Child. And during this little roughhousing, Michael and his friends take the crying child up to one of their Fredbear animatronics that he is deathly afraid of. But sadly, that bullying leads to a fatal accident, as the Fredbear animatronic chomps down on the skull of the crying child, killing him and leaving William Afton with only one son. But of course, while he's still grieving over the crying child, Willie Afton still has to worry about his daughter. And since William is just not allowed to be happy, let's just kill her off too real quick. After William created a new animatronic called Circus Baby, his daughter Elizabeth decided to take a closer look at it. But that animatronic was designed for something much more sinister than to play with a child. Circus Baby was designed by William to, for lack of a better word, scoop up children and kill them. And Elizabeth, sadly, was the first victim of this animatronic, as she died due to her own father's invention. This, in turn, leads her to possess the Circus Baby animatronic, which we will come back to much later. And following the sudden loss of 2 of his children, William Afton's sick and twisted mind decided that the next best thing to do was to kill another child. But on purpose this time. But his sick and twisted mind decided that it can't just be any child. No, it has to be one very special to him. Henry's daughter, Charlotte. However, Charlotte is more important to this story than just William's first kill. Because you see, Charlotte's soul goes on to possess the puppet, an animatronic that becomes very, very important in the revenge of William Afton after the missing children's incident, which we jump to right now as the horrific rampage of William Afton continues. And we get to the event that essentially started the popularity of this entire Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, the missing children's incident. First mentioned in the original Five Nights at Freddy's game, the missing children's incident is the story of when 5 children suddenly disappeared at a Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. But in reality, this sudden disappearance was due to our favorite purple killer in William Afton. Because of William Afton, we have at least 6 children missing, abducted, and murdered. And that just won't stand for the restless souls of these victims, especially the first victim in our timeline, Charlotte. The protective child who has taken over the puppet has decided to do something with the spirits of Afton's victims. As we see in FNAF 2, the puppet decided to take the bodies and souls of these missing children and try to repurpose them into new life. She decides to take the souls of the missing children's incident and put them into the animatronics of Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, Foxy, and Golden Freddy. And now, Freddys Pizzeria consists of ghosts, reincarnation, and a bit of a bad odor due to the rotting corpses of these children. So naturally, all of this leads to this particular restaurant getting shut down. And this just won't stand for William Afton. Perhaps he was feeling haunted, perhaps he was feeling guilty, I'm not too sure. But what I do know is that he does eventually decide to go back to that restaurant. And during his time there, he decided that he should dismantle the animatronics, going through and getting rid of the evidence-laced Foxy, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. However, this will not stop the vengeful spirits of his victims. While he was destroying these animatronics, the spirits of these children decided to haunt Afton. And through his own cowardness, Afton decided to run and hide in the only place he could find. Ironically, Afton decided to stuff himself in an animatronic suit. However, this suit was very different from your usual costume. This was a spring lock suit, a suit that was designed to be somehow both a regular costume and its own animatronic, with it having all the mechanisms of both a regular suit and an animatronic suit. So, when William Afton decided to hide there in a cold, damp, and abandoned pizzeria, the faulty spring lock suit clamped down on his body. William Afton became a victim of the faulty mechanisms and bled out on the floor as the spirits of these kids finally get their payback. Finally, William Afton was taken out of our story. For now. But this left one member of the Afton family alive in William's son, Michael. As he grew up, Michael learned more and more about the horrible killer his dad became, as well as the restless souls that he left behind, including the soul of his sister Elizabeth. Which brings us to what happens in Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. You see, while most of the lore in these games comes in the form of flashback mini-games and hidden secrets, the events of what actually happens in sister location are pretty important to the story. In that game, we play as Michael Afton, who has decided to go down into one of his father's old facilities to meet with Circus Baby. His goal, ultimately, is to put his sister back together and help to mend her soul. However, Circus Baby and the other Funtime animatronics housed in that facility have other ideas. They decide to lure Michael into a back room, and after putting themselves together in a new being called Ennard, they attack Michael. They use a machine to scoop him up and brutally assault him. And this leads Ennard to, well, take control of Michael by somehow climbing into his body and gaining power over him. Yeah, this is when the story starts to take a bit of a weird dive. Well, weirder than ghost children possessing Chuck E. Cheese animatronics, I guess. Either way, this Ennard business doesn't last too long. Over the span of about a week, Michael's body starts to deteriorate with the haunted machinery inside him. His skin, ironically, becomes purple, and he just gives off a disgusting presence. So Ennard decides to immediately eject Michael's rotting body. However, after going through such a horrible ordeal, Michael is somehow still alive. And now that Michael is free of Ennard, he decides to continue his journey of putting to rest the victims of his father. But his father has other plans. William Afton, even after being dismantled by the Springlock suit, is somehow, some way, still alive. After the constant bad press and hauntings, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria has turned into a bit of an attraction. So, a third party has decided to buy the rights of Freddy Fazbear's to turn this press into a horror-themed attraction. And this is where Five Nights at Freddy's 3 comes in. Which of course is where we see the re-emerged Springtrap, aka William Afton. However, after his escapades in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 to let us know that he is back for good, a plan starts to come together in the background. A plan between Michael Afton and the father of William's first victim, his former business associate, Henry. A plan that involves one last restaurant. Michael and Henry open up a new Freddys Pizzeria together, but not for any monetary reasons. Now that Springtrap is on the loose, they decide to finally put an end to this. They take in all of the animatronics in Circus Baby, aka Elizabeth Afton, Molten Freddy, aka the new form of Ennard, Lefty, aka the new form of the Puppet, and Springtrap, aka William Afton. They then set fire to the animatronics, burning them all and putting an end to the Afton family. Michael is also heavily implied to be killed here as well, staying to watch the whole thing burn down. But while that may feel like a fitting conclusion to our story, you clearly haven't learned anything. Because you see, William Afton always comes back. But this time, it's in a way that nobody would have expected. In Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, there is this eerie creature watching from the sidelines. A looming darkness among the game that turns out to be only one thing. Glitch Trap. Or, better known as, William Afton. Okay, so bear with me here. In case this series wasn't bizarre enough already, FNAF Help Wanted introduced us to William Afton's digital consciousness. William Afton somehow programmed his personality into the game and into the Glitch Trap animatronic we see in Help Wanted. And through this bizarre Glitch Trap form, William Afton can now interact with the digital realm. But Afton doesn't want to stay like this forever. No, instead he wants to get out and continue his insanity. Which brings us to the most recent Five Nights at Freddy's game, Security Breach. Somehow, Afton got in contact with a young woman named Vanessa. She is an employee at Freddy Fazbear's and is, shall we say, not doing the best mentally after a long history of trauma, which sadly makes her the perfect target for manipulation by Afton, who decides to email her as Glitch Trap. She, through this manipulation, is tasked to bring Afton back to life so he can continue his mayhem. Now, there are multiple endings to Security Breach, but I'm going to focus my attention on the one that most relates to William Afton. The one that I think is the true ending of the game. Deep beneath the setting of the game, Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex, is an old, run-down Freddy's Pizza place. The restaurant Michael and Henry created in Pizzeria Simulator. As the now long-abandoned building sits there, so too does a secret workstation for Vanessa. She somehow finds a way to bring back Afton by putting his program into the old Springtrap suit. However, this plan doesn't last very long. As Springtrap tries to come back to life, a little boy named Gregory and his animatronic protector Glamrock Freddy try to put a stop to him. And even though he tries to defeat the two, William is unable to do so. As the area starts collapsing around them, Glamrock Freddy and Gregory make their escape, but Afton is not so lucky. Afton is stopped and taken away by Molten Freddy, the final remains of Ennard hidden away underground, where his fate is currently unknown. And as of now, the Afton family story is put to rest. A story about a family torn apart through the horrific actions of a father, The man whose son and daughter were killed by his creations. The man whose deranged lunacy led to the murder of several more children. The man who was then haunted, tortured, and destroyed because of those actions. William Afton, the killer of Five Nights at Freddy's. Personally, I feel like the Afton family story came to a fitting conclusion at the end of Pizzeria Simulator when everything burned down. It was not only a great wrap-up to the story of William, Michael, and the dead children, but it could have also been a great series wrap on the entire Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. And while the series continues with Vanessa and this weird digital version of William, I think it's pretty safe to say that the Afton family story has come to an end, with the future of the series lying solely on William and Vanessa. But with FNAF seemingly reaching some sort of a second season to the story, I personally can't wait to see what happens next. With all of the Afton family gone, I'm personally excited to see what will happen next in this incredible, terrifying, and downright bizarre story of Five Nights at Freddy's. Thank you all so much for watching this video on Five Nights at Freddy's. After 8 years of jump scares, child attractions, and murder, it's interesting to go back and look at how this bizarre story came to be. But what do you think of this Five Nights at Freddy's video? Let me know by liking, commenting, subscribing, and all that good stuff. But until next time, have a good day. Bye-bye.